listening to the Otakuology podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Otakuology podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike. With me, as always, is my heterosexual life partner, Jin Graves. How are you doing today, sir?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not the okay part, but the rest of it.
Yeah. Like, definitely,
Yeah.
I can't complain.
So, you do anything exciting over the weekend?
No, not really. Not really.
So, you get any flashback or anything from the Ekin episode?
Flashback? What are you talking about?
You got anybody that says anything to you?
No,
Female?
nobody said anything to us about that fucking episode. No, man, no. We had like 8 people listen to that episode.
They're probably like, yes, this is what I needed them to talk about.
I needed Ekin in my life.
I didn't know I needed it, but I got it now.
I need it. I want it. I got it.
So let me ask you this.
What?
If somebody wanted us to go in and cover the manga as well, would you go read it?
No, I would not read it. I would not go read this manga.
There's so much more development in it, though.
I really don't care.
I just think it's funny that we did it anyway.
I know you do.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I kind of wanted to talk about this.
So should we make our announcement now about our podcast expansion?
To what?
So, Mike and I are going to start an OnlyFans.
Oh.
And because Spotify and stuff, you can't really show visual or anything, and YouTube would kick us out. We're going to start a OnlyFans covering Faku manga.
We did that before.
Yeah, but this time we can show pictures.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Because it's on OnlyFans.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Let's do it.
No, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, me and Mike have a lot of Faku manga. And I was just sitting there thinking, I don't know why it popped in my head. And I was like,
yeah,
we have Faku manga and whatnot that we read. And we don't really have anywhere that we can really just talk about it in depth.
That is true.
There, and I was like, oh, we could do it on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I guess we could.
And just spit those up. Hey, what volume did you read this week? I read this chapter. I read this chapter.
Yeah.
What's that?
Maybe we should start putting our podcast on OnlyFans. Just saying,
our regular podcast.
Yeah, our regular podcast. Just put it on OnlyFans.
No, because everybody can listen to it everywhere else.
I mean, yeah.
But if we had OnlyFans, then we could be like,
we could charge money.
We're covering things a little more X-rated.
I mean, since we lost our sponsorship from Spotify,
yeah,
we haven't been making money off the podcast.
Oh, so we're gonna expand out. We're gonna be making the podcast on OnlyFans and Fansly.
Yeah, sure, we can go with that.
I didn't know what that was till the other day, and somebody, I was talking to somebody. Yeah, and they're a cosplayer, and they're like, "Oh, well, I have stuff on OnlyFans." I was like, "I'm good. I don't need that." And they go, "Well, I have stuff on Fansly as well." And I was like, "I don't know what that is. What is it?"
What is Fansly?
Fansly is basically OnlyFans, but I guess they take less of a cut than OnlyFans does.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I guess we should get started and talk about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, because the bullet we just threw out with the OnlyFans thing, this other bullet we're going to have is a lot more manageable now.
So I've been listening to a lot of other podcasts, and they've all been talking about like representation uh, within like anime and manga, like representation depictions, in anime and manga of like different sexualities, different races. Should different races be put into more manga and animes? Like, how are they depicted and stuff like that? And it was kind
Right.
of a interesting topic. A lot of it seemed to really go to like skin color or ethnicity
Right.
within these topics. Um, and it just got really interesting. I've looked some things up here and there, and I kind of wanted to put our own spin on it.
All right.
And as obviously two white heterosexual men talking about representation in manga and anime.
Hey,
Um,
Faye Valentine could be whatever color you picked, and she'd still be
yeah.
one of the most
Oh,
sexiest women in the
fucking
world.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most definitely.
For anybody that doesn't know who Faye Valentine is, don't listen to this podcast
Or
anymore.
Raleigh
Leave.
Vincent. Raleigh Vincent's pretty hot too.
God, what is that from?
That's from
Fuck. I'm gonna leave the podcast now.
Riding Bean Gunsmith Cats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now you remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now you. Yeah. Fuck yeah. So I guess I'll start. Do you feel like anime and manga represent or depict different races in a good, positive light?
um, is there a specific time period for this?
Any from the beginning till now, I guess you could say.
Not really.
Not really. No. Why is that?
Not really. Um, I feel like more things nowadays are a little more observant of that fact,
Uh-huh.
but still at the same point, they're not very much there. We have the, and I don't know what you would exactly call it. We more so have nowadays the fake whitewashing, which isn't exactly whitewashing, but because of how anime is drawn, everybody depicts it as, oh, well, all these characters are white.
Yeah.
No, they're written in
They're
Japan
they're
as being
Japanese.
Japanese people.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of the whole thing with that.
It's
And if
kind of
you've
it's kind of
ever
interesting.
if
Sorry.
you've ever really seen anybody that really, really focuses on this person is American or whatever, they are illiterate. They most of the time are kind of seem like a gangbanger or a
Or
punk or a
super loud
hoodlum.
and obnoxious.
Yeah.
Usually are blonde.
Most of the time, yes, they're blonde.
They're blonde.
Um, and even then, like representation, and as Mike started out our show as white heterosexual males, we really don't have that much representation
No.
either.
We
The closest thing that I could say to that is the one that you and I both agreed on, which is not my brother's husband or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, my brother's
My
husband.
brother's, yeah, and he's not American; he's Canadian.
I mean, still white.
But that's the closest representation
I
that
I would
we
also
have,
I would
but not straight.
I would also go with I hate I always considered them to be white in this book. Like a lot of people in the book.
Are you going to say Full Metal Alchemist?
Yes, I am going to say Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay, so first off, I didn't include that because of one particular reason.
Why?
That's not in our world.
It's not in our world. I will say that, but they do.
So I can't even put them into.
No. You can, because in the original series, they go to Germany.
Yeah, but that's a different world.
I know, but I'm just saying, like in general, like it was Full Metal Alchemist and My Brother's Husband are like really the only two depictions I would say of white people.
Right, but those aren't even accurate depictions because one of them, the sexuality is different. The other one is something else.
But we do look like the guy from My Brother's Husband. I do kind of look like him.
We do.
Yeah.
I agree.
Big guy with beards.
And there's a Faku manga that I keep seeing the advertisement for, but I'm not going to read it. That we look like the guys in that too. But again, I'm not going to read that.
But the thing, you look at it, like everybody is wanting to have like diversity in like the LGBTQ plus community, you know, within like different anime and manga, as well as like racial diversity in anime and manga. We have to remember anime and manga come from Japan. We are not their culture. Just like the depiction of Asian stereotypes within like US media aren't the best at all. It's all like stereotypes and like kung fu and stuff like that, you know. Like
this is true.
Only
Bruce Lee.
Only like really recent with like I hate to say Fresh Off the Boat, but like Fresh Off the Boat, like Always Be My Maybe, Crazy Rich Asians, you know, stuff like that. I'm probably missing a bunch, but like to really have like Asian people within leading roles. Now I get it. Like everybody wants to see themselves depicted in different forms of media.
Right.
You know, but that's not necessarily the case within anime and manga. Like, we're not going to see ourselves depicted. As much as we complain and whine about it, we're not. The only way we are going to actually see that is if somebody went to Japan or, you know, and like created this stuff.
Right.
Themselves. Because there was the guy, I don't remember what his name is, but do you remember the guy who created the Boondocks?
Yeah.
That guy, I don't remember what his name is, but he went off to Japan and made Cannon Busters, which is a anime. And then we have, you know, stuff like Afro Samurai and what was that one? Is that that new one, that anime came out with this black samurai? He was like Yosuke, I believe it was called.
Oh yeah.
I think it was called, you know, like it's cool. It's cool to get like that stuff. Like, but like 90% of the time, our cultures or different cultures are going to be fucking walking stereotypes.
Well, and not only that, but we're never going to have accurate representations of us at all.
No.
Nobody is.
No.
I
feel like go ahead.
And I feel like this is actually a good thing. There's an audiobook I listened to that's Josh Peck's book, which, I mean, we know him as the guy from Jake and Josh, you know. My bad.
Yeah. As you crush your can in the background.
I accidentally leaned over and it knocked it over. I'm glad the liquid's empty, but, you know. Who else has done that? There's not an accurate depiction of that happening in manga. Damn it. But no, Josh Peck's book was really good. And he brings it up. He's like, I had no role models being like a 300-pound kid.
Yeah.
Except for like Chris Farley and some other people. He goes, the only reason though was because we told jokes and we were fat white guys.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
But then you get into it more, like, okay, well, you have that stereotype, but what about other things? Like, what if you like something different than that other person
Yeah.
or whatever? How are you going to be accurately depicted? You're not going to be.
No, you're definitely not going to be, and I feel like people want them to depict the different cultures and sexualities and stuff like that, which I feel like more within the LGBTQ plus community. I always fuck that up. Um,
I know you
I
used to say the alphabet people.
I used I did used to say the alphabet. I did. Okay, I did.
What a
I'm
dick.
but I feel like they or that particular subsect of demographic is actually being more represented now within manga and anime better than it used to be.
Right.
Like we're getting more books. Like I really liked Love Me for Who I Am, which is a non-binary like manga about guys who like dress up as women, and stuff like that, and how it affects them. And you have like all these other ones. What was the one that you really like to read? It was like a cooking one, I believe it was.
Which
I
one?
can't. It was like a BL or like a
Oh, what did you eat yesterday?
what did you eat yesterday, or different things like that. I feel like
Which
go
is
ahead.
fucking amazing.
That's from what I hear. Yeah, it is. And they're not as stereotypical as we used to get. Like what I remember, like the guy, I think it was like, is it Benny and like Outlaw Star, who's like the flaming uh like guy who wants to pick up like Gene Starwind out every second. I don't
I
remember if
think
he,
so.
yeah, I think it's Benny or something. I don't remember what his name is. Like he was like one of like the only gay people in anime. Or like I remember like the next door neighbor for Saito in Speedgrapher. You know, he he was very stereotypical gay male. You know,
Right.
and stuff like that. So like,
Well, and
go
not
ahead.
only that, talking about Speedgrapher,
Hmm.
and I will say this: reading Faku manga versus real manga, novels, other things, I would say I feel like there's more representation in Faku manga
Uh huh.
as it gets down to the nitty gritty of basically love making and fucking and whatnot, which
I
is
mean,
what a
that's
majority of people want. You know,
I feel like that's definitely true, and like we also have to figure like we aren't the target audience obviously when it comes
that's
to
true.
anime and manga. um our stuff is more like comic books and like movies and stuff like that. That would be our target medium.
Right.
But I do feel like if we saw change within anime and manga, like people actually went out and made their own stuff, like this just popped into my head because I'm reading it at the moment, but I'm reading the Milestone Compendiums, which is like Static, Hardware, Icon and Rocket, stuff like that. Blood Syndicate, which were
Yeah.
all black or minority characters within comic books, and they sold like hotcakes back in the 90s.
Right.
Like they were really popular. We had one of the biggest shows, Static Shock, to feature a black male character. You
Right.
know, And like we had these things. Why did we have these things? Because those people went out and they made that product.
Yeah. So
If you want something, you fucking go make it.
let me point this out to you.
Go ahead.
One of the most represented things that I felt in I feel like you're gonna laugh me under the table.
All
Listen,
right, all right.
the character doesn't exactly speak English, so you
Uh-huh.
have to imagine that, but how they want people to see them and what comes off with all of that, of course, it has to be action packed. So I mean, they go on a killing spree. Who doesn't have some kind of a road rage, or oh man, you're clicking that pin too much or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that, and also have a mentor or whatnot. But because I think of there having that language barrier,
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
did get to have more of the emotional connection with the character.
Uh-huh.
And you're gonna laugh too much. But I felt emotionally really connected to this character throughout the series
Uh-huh.
and whatnot because of little things that they did like that. And so that series is Hit Monkey.
Hit Monkey?
Yeah,
Hit Monkey.
Hit Monkey.
Okay.
You're like, did I hear that right?
I guess you want to be.
So, but that's what I'm saying.
Do you
So
want to be a monkey?
the farthest thing from who we are, you and I, and having this monkey character personified and whatnot as an assassin, and
Mm-hmm.
having those aggressive moments in life, and then at the same time having this, oh well, I want to protect this person because I love them
Yeah.
and whatnot, and all that really I think shines through with that because there's the language barrier and not being able to be like, oh well, it's a monkey. How exactly is he gonna talk?
Yeah.
So
I get it, and I feel like I've never personally felt like I was represented in an anime or manga. To be honest,
hey, you could be that. You could be Mushu.
Mushu.
Yeah, from Mulan.
No, I think he's already taken.
You could be like, I feel most represented by Mushu because he's a little red dragon that wants to be like, ha cha, I'm the best.
No, I get it. Like, we all want to see ourselves in media and stuff, but like, I don't feel like complaining about it
Yeah.
and stuff, and be like, oh, like I never understood. Like, I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember what the podcast was, and it was like the guy on it said like Piccolo was black,
Yeah.
and I was like, Piccolo's a green guy from a different planet.
Right.
I was like, Piccolo's not black. How is he black? Like what
Right.
would Goku be? Would Goku technically be Japanese or would he be Namekian?
Right.
Not Namekian. Fuck. What are they? What are they?
Saiyans.
Saiyans. I don't know why I said Namekian.
Because you were talking about Piccolo.
But let's be honest. Everybody knows the best representation in anime was Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Let's just be honest with that. We got everybody in every nationality in that anime.
I feel like that's my that's my sword to fall on because everybody fucking loves that anime, and then when you have to step back when somebody tells you like, hey, that's probably one of the most racist animes with the
I know. Well, like Japanese people are very xenophobic, and they don't know the cultures really, unless
Right.
whatever they see from like TV or something, or they actually go look it up or travel to those places. But other than that, like you're not going to get an accurate depiction of anything if it's not Japanese.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's personally how I personally feel. Like I hope things get better. Like one thing I would love to see
more guys with beards.
More guys with beards. Yes, I would love to see that. But because the
Brown
beard game needs to get up and shape up.
Brown beards, not white beards.
Brown beards, yes. Black beards as well, yes. Maybe we'll throw a little ginger in there. Just on the safe side.
Maybe a little ginger.
But like a big thing I would like to see to be honest, is to have like more of the barriers breaking down within like the demographics of each like different type of manga,
Right.
and like having like an openly gay Shonen Jump character, not just because he's gay, just because it's that's a trait of the character. Like you don't have to give him like the walking gay stereotypes,
Right.
or to be honest, even representation. Where I feel like representation is not at all, shown is when are we gonna get like female led action manga?
Right.
That's like a Shonen Jump title or a Seinen title or something like that,
Right. Or African American
or African American. Yeah,
African American led with an interracial relationship.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I would say women are less represented in like the Seinen / Shonen area for like strong female characters.
Right.
They're always like these meek, like or side meek or like side characters type of thing.
Right.
Like the only one that pops in my head is like Claire, and then like all those fucking characters from like Black Lagoon,
Oh yeah.
like Revy and like the Nun and like Bella Lyca. Like that's what I could say. Like but we don't really have like that.
Well, and I think a lot of that is because of it being Shonen
True,
Jump.
true, and I feel like they stick too close to those fucking like rules of Shonen Jump
Right. And
and
Shoujo Beat.
Shoujo Beat. Yeah, they stick too close. Like you have to do this, you have to do this. Oh, same thing with like kind of like mainstream comics in a way. Like
Right.
how those do that. Because you have to have those characters. But I mean that's just me and how I personally feel.
Yeah.
Like
So
I would love for more manga to take risks.
low key, one of the things that I hate representation wise is where the idea for characters that they start out in a certain way
Uh-huh.
and they don't have anything questionable about them to begin with.
Yeah.
You don't have a character where they're like, huh, I fought along like it for a girl. I fought her alongside that one girl, and man, just the way that the sweat like glistened on her muscles and whatnot. That's beautiful. But I like guys, or I like boys,
I
but we don't have anything like that. So
I kind of take back what I said because there's also like the Dirty Pair and like Ghost in the Shell standalone complex
yeah,
and stuff like that, But
yeah,
like other than that, like I don't know many female led like anime or manga that are
right.
out there.
But for that, like, I hate that they have to take old characters and then change them up in such a way to be that way.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Without making new characters. I feel like that should be a thing.
Yeah.
In America, I feel like does it really bad,
Oh
especially because it's like, oh well, such and such. Oh yeah, now they're gay.
No, you don't really get me started on.
Well, did they start out that way, or
Uh,
just make another character and have them solely have that representation?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I could say, just throwing it out there, like at one point, like Iceman came out as gay.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's what you were thinking of? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's one of the ones that really pisses me off because he was never depicted until they did that.
Yeah, I mean, you're true. You're right.
And that's one of the things I hate, with American comics is something like that. Versus like Deadpool, who has always been flamboyant, saying that, he could go with a boy, a girl, or even a dog,
Ugh.
I mean, that's just Deadpool,
Yeah. No, I
So,
get you.
But I think that's another thing with sticking to your guns is we have these characters that are somewhat established and people want to give them a deeper layer, and it doesn't happen because
It doesn't always work out that way.
you can't they don't want to make something new out of it.
That's true.
You know.
That's true. And I feel like that's kind of why anime and manga kind of struggle as well.
Right.
Like, people want them to go forward, but like, I don't feel like their society will let them if they even want to, even if they want to do that creatively.
Right.
You know.
And another thing with that really makes me think of, I forgot where I read this at, but it was making a really good D&D character for a campaign, right? And it said, you know, develop a little bit, basically like write a paragraph of what your character is, who your character is, and then let everything kind of go from there. They can have a little bit of a backstory, whatever. But when you write out so much, which is what I feel like most manga does, is everything for every character is already written down the time the first word is put on the page.
Yeah.
Everything is written down for all those characters to be exactly who they're supposed to be.
Yeah, like they fit that archetype.
And they put everything into it from the very beginning, and they say there's no room for the character to grow a different way. There's nothing, you know, anything else from there. There's nothing extra that you can do to add to the character because they've already pre-planned this stuff out.
Yeah.
But like on the opposite side, American, it's like, oh yeah, we did that. We can change it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But with that in the representation, I feel like we should go more with like the Marvel one that Stan Lee originally created, where it's not only just this character with this race and everything, it's this set of emotions.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like
you're right.
Like when the Hulk was made, everybody had that inner anger, that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of feeling them, you know, Spider-Man, teens, and going out and doing all this. That's why we love different heroes and whatnot like that.
I mean, you also look at like Superman. Superman's supposed to be like the best human ever.
Right.
You know, like the best depiction of humanity. And he's not even human. And, you know, and he was created by like two Jewish guys.
Right.
You know, back in like the 40s, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, you kind of just gotta, if you want to see yourself depicted, you have to make the product. You have to tell the story. Don't wait for somebody else to tell that story. Because you're probably not going to like how that story is depicted.
Right. And change it up.
You know, yeah.
Change it up. If you imagine somebody to be a black or an African American Daredevil,
yeah,
do it that way.
Yeah.
If you want to basically completely change it up and pull a Danny Rand with Iron Fist and say, hey, you know, I want to be a Hispanic Iron Man. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And that's one form that we've talked about before. I think cosplay is one of the perfect mediums for people.
I mean, yes, it is, but don't even get me started on like the fans who are like, "Oh, you can't dress up like that because
fuck that."
You know,
but
fuck that. Fuck that.
When people like their character,
yeah,
and they want to wear and have a representation of it,
but people want
some
people want like a direct adaptation of those characters. And you can't necessarily have that when you're cosplaying. Anybody can cosplay, though.
I want a direct adaptation of Miles Morales. Oh, well, look, I want to see him white. Okay.
I remember when that came out. I remember the day. I remember the day Miles Morales came out, and I was like, "What's this? This is interesting. I want to read this."
I remember this too because my brother read it,
and he's probably one of the. I mean, I don't really like what the Marvel is doing with him at the moment, but he was a really popular character, and he got people to read comic books.
Right.
You know, and regardless of if we are properly represented, I know this kind of, you know, if we're properly represented, we're still going to read manga or watch anime.
This is true.
I mean, who's to say we have to be represented in manga and anime as well? Playing a little devil's advocate.
This is true. We're all going to be living, so
it's not our culture, like we said, and we kind of I feel like we kind of just have to roll with the punches, to be honest.
Well, I mean, isn't living our common denominator?
That is true.
So, haha.
I mean, I would love to see change, but I don't see change happening anytime soon.
And then this is where we do the whole thing with school and be like, you have to be the change.
You have to be the change. But yeah, I feel like that's a good place to stop. I mean, unless you have any other things to talk about.
No, I mean, that's about it. I really think that we kind of beat a dead horse.
We beat a dead horse.
So,
we cut that horse's head off and put it in somebody's bed.
Representation is something that you have to look at and you have to assess and pick out what things that you feel like are represented best in a certain character with you, and read it and enjoy that character as best you can. And, hopefully you can find one that's even closer than that.
True. I agree.
So, you don't always know that.
No, that's true.
But leave a comment somewhere, wherever it is that Mike can read it. Send it to our email. Let us know what you think on this topic. Yeah, our Instagram. Let us know what you think on this topic. And if we covered it right, or if there is more that you think, maybe we'll do a second episode of this.
Or maybe we're just a bunch of bigots.
Fuck you, whatever.
I'm just fucking joking.
But anyway, as always, best thing is we'll see you next Tuesday.
Peace out. See you next Tuesday.